on earth did we take this on?
This project could be professional suicide.
The more you look into this, the more of a Pandora's box it becomes.
There are demonic forces in this music.
There is a frightening aspect that the curse is real.
I would say, leave the Gothic alone, seal it up, and either bury it or put it into a museum for many years later.
Good morning, Brisbane. You're listening to 4MBS Classic FM. And that was the end of the second movement of Havergal Brian's Gothic Symphony. The Gothic Symphony is in the Guinness Book of Records as the largest, longest and most technically difficult symphony ever composed. The massive Gothic Symphony has not been performed for 30 years and has never been performed publicly outside of the United Kingdom. If all goes well, we'll be performing the first ever complete performance right here in Brisbane. Well, I've been trying to get this Gothic Symphony performed for about 28 years now. Havergal Brian's job as a composer was to write the music. It's everyone else's job to perform it, to understand it, to get it done. Despite enormous setbacks, enormous neglect and enormous apathy from others, he set his course and just went for it.
Gary has tried for so long to put it on. It's been around looming over us for all those years. Gary's passion or obsession is enough for one person in the family.
Yes, Gail's got in quite a stew a few times, haven't you, here over this?
My first published article was about Brian. My first published book was about Brian. My entire career owes everything to Brian because from that I've gone on to write about many different composers and many different kinds of music. This is the pirated recording of the 1966 performance of the Gothic conducted by Sir Adrian Boult. It's a tragic drama, it's an epic drama, it's a drama of somebody grappling with almost ungovernable forces. When I first started really trying to get into the music and find out about it, Brian was still alive, of course, and I corresponded with him really through the last 2 years of his life. I corresponded quite intensively.
I haven't failed. I wrote my works and did my bit. It's for others to play them. That's their part.
He never made it easy for himself in terms of his music. It's difficult music to put on. It's not easy music to play.
The Gothic has not been heard because a hand is up against it. I'm inclined to think, as far as I am concerned, the opposition comes from one greater.
The more you look into this, the more of a Pandora's box it becomes. 180 to 200 instrumentalists, 400 choristers, 4 brass bands, children's chorus. Whether I'll be involved or not, personally, it depends on such a lot of things, doesn't it? You see, it's all very well to say of course we can get 160 players, but they have to be 160 pretty good players. But where do we find 400 choristers? There is not a production team in action yet, is there?
Downstairs. Morning. Morning. It's a symphony. It's actually the largest symphony ever composed. It was written about 80 years ago and has rarely been performed. We're looking at doing the first performance of it here in Brisbane in its entirety. It's a huge thing. It's almost, well, it is. It's too big. It's literally been too big for the Brisbane Festival. Too big for you? Yeah. Okay. Rightio. Bye. That's a no. For financial and artistic reasons.
Look, they're coming. Oh, come on, Mrs. Blackbird. Here they are. I mean, you're the very first person, I can assure you, that I've been able to say all these things. Never before. I thought a great deal of my father, but he wasn't the sort of person that you could show it to. Do you know what I mean? He was a very reserved person, and his one life was his music. I mean, that's really all he cared for. He was very particular about his children's behaviour, because he always had the best room in the house, I might add. It's usually upstairs. Now, you would never dare run up the stairs. If he said, "I don't wish to be disturbed," well, you didn't. He might say, "Who the bloody hell is that?"
Well, attempt number 1 fell over through lack of an orchestra. Attempt number 2 fell over for lack of funding. Attempt number 3 failed through lack of a suitable venue. Attempt number 4 fell over through lack of sufficient choristers. I just kept on pitching the Gothic to whoever would listen. I've been told it's not worth doing.
Havergal Brian is really not on most people's radar screen.
It's not a masterpiece.
It's a gigantic dinosaur, actually.
It's too difficult.
Where's the money coming from and how much is there? I mean, that's something that we haven't discussed so much.
There are reasons why it's only been performed 4 times.
Well, I would give it a very small chance of success.
I think for the first 15 or 20 years I was probably not thinking of it in terms of a curse, but the last 4 or 5 I'm certainly thinking of it in terms of a curse. The hardest aspect has been, from my point of view, to maintain the belief in the value of doing this symphony.
Just rock from A to Z, that rock I've always wanted, that's always growing. What is this one? Movie soundtracks. Oh, I've got a Havergal Brian album. Oh, here it is. I must have just had it recently. Woohoo. My role in the Gothic has been a bit of a complicated one. I'm actually the producer of a documentary following the staging of the Gothic. I got involved in the Gothic through pure frustration. Sitting in behind the camera watching Gary on the phone, watching rushes, watching Gary fail time and time again, and I could just see that he desperately needed help. So I just got the list in my hand today and just thought I'd better just catch up with everyone and just see what's going on, because there sort of was not much happening. Have you got an email, Julie, that I can send that to? Someone who manages 250 voices didn't get any of the information. If they say yes, there's half the voices. If we get, and there's already another one committed, get a couple more little ones, we've done it. I've got the bug. I've got the bug bad. I want to hear it. I hear it, it lingers in my soul, it creeps in. You hate it when you first hear it. You think, and then it hooks in, little bits of it, they hook in and you want to hear it. You want to hear all those voices at once. You want to see it happen.
Well, I'm on my way to the annual general meeting of the Havergal Bryan Society, which is being held in Conway Hall.
It's a bit of a fan club. I mean, if you look along the ranks of the people here, I mean, we're all grey-bearded folk like me who've been involved with the society for some years.
Brian cannot but be more noticeable now than he was 20 years ago.
Really, basically, to the credit of the society, that this is a fact, that when you go into a record shop now and you're flipping through the things, you come to Brahms and Bruckner's not the next one, it's Brian.
I think slowly we're winning.
Has any thought been given to the possibility of raising Brian's profile during the Olympics?
I wonder, though, if a sports audience is the most receptive one to Brian's particular muse. I just sense that we'd be far better going for other people than particularly that audience.
You can't take a horse to water and force it to drink.
We musicians are peculiar people, insensitive to strange, invisible, psychic elements. Our beginnings seem very odd when we retrace our steps to the time when we first fell under the mystery of sound.
Well, of course, he came from what was in Victorian and Edwardian England definitely a working-class background, you know, from the Staffordshire potteries. It was very rare at that time for people from that station to become composers. The moment that he decided to become a composer was when he heard the first performance of Elgar's cantata King Olaf in Hanley in 1896.
I just stopped there in my tracks. I'd heard no music like it. It was wonderful music and totally original. Before I'd got past the first page, I knew this was great stuff.
And from then on, he knew that that was what he most wanted to do, to write music like that, of that kind of punch and power.
It's not so bad. The hard bits are good. Do you want me to tell them what you're doing? See, it's so hard to get a performance that Veronica has decided to do a documentary on the quest for a performance. Yeah, a little bit like Lord of the Rings, you know. So that's what it's all about. Yeah, well, let's have a show of hands. I took it on because I wanted to be the one to do it, from a personal point of view, and then I wanted Brisbane musicians to be able to do it as well.
With John Carew and his orchestra on board, we all headed down to pitch it to Deborah Conway.
Do you think she's actually got any idea of the size of it?
She seemed to. Let's sort of downplay it a bit and make it more of a spectacle, with not like that it's too monstrous.
Okay. All right.
As creative director of one of Queensland's biggest music festivals, Deborah was getting close to locking off the 2009 program.
Some people think it's a mixture of Mahler, Strauss, whatever. I just think it's Brian. Yeah, but he outdoes them.
So you got to
And I think it's an acquired taste. Deborah, was my main concern, is that you sort of had some idea that this is such an enormous task, that it's only been pulled off 4 times.
And it's actually teetering on the edge of failure at all times. I've got that.
I've
got that.
And it's an enormous thing. And it's only been done 4 times.
I feel like it would be an absolute joy and a pleasure to bring this to the people of Queensland. Confidence.
City Hall is acoustically...
I've seen some nice shows there. Future planning. No, I don't have it. 2009.
You're talking about next July, aren't you? Well, my orchestra and me are committed to a collaboration with the North Queensland Chamber Music Festival in July.
Oh, well,
okay.
It's all
so
over.
that's
But
problem.
I don't know when. Well, I don't
Okay,
know
that's
yet.
it.
I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was totally embarrassed when I realised that the same thing happened to me that had been happening to Gary for years.
Yes, it's hard. You go around in circles. Yes, I always feel that.
People talk about the Brian jinx, you know, the things that happen, that, you know, performances fall through, scores get lost, sponsors pull out, record companies fail.
If we're talking about the Brian Gremlin, I think perhaps the weirdest attack it made was perhaps about 15, 20 years ago, when an American member of the society put on a cassette of one of the symphonies in his car, and the wheels fell off.
Yes.
The more you believe in them, the more they cause you to give up at some point. I think it's always better to persist, like he himself did, against whatever ill fate seems to be threatening you.
Yeah, after that Deborah Conway attempt, it took about 9 months to pull ourselves together, put a new team together and go again. Yeah, but this is a great big flute.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 violas. It's not a lot of violas.
Okay.
Not a lot of trumpets. You were short of everything. Do you know the total numbers here?
50 something.
There's 150 needed.
We have it. That's why we need to do a big recruitment. At this stage, we have to find 400 singers and about 150 musicians and orchestra, and most importantly, a venue big enough to stage this thing.
600 people on stage. Well, what stage? What stage can cope with 600 people?
One stage looking at staging it in an aircraft hangar at Archfield Airport just to get a big enough venue.
This balcony's gone back forever. When you consider the occasion occurs once every 100 years,
Yeah, exactly.
you might as well have it in a nice concert hall. It's a nice place to do it.
So we decided that the concert hall at QPAC, which is the Queensland Performing Arts Complex, is the best location for this performance.
Good. Can we try that again?
And we managed to get Michael Black on board. He's the wonderful chorus master of Opera Australia, one of the best in the country.
My stockings, why did you give them to her? Good. Can we try that again? One more time. From my stockings.
I actually had no idea what the Gothic Symphony was at the time, and I had to look it up on Wikipedia. I have to say I'm not really too concerned about the supposed curse of the Gothic Symphony. Putting on a symphony with 500 people in the choir and 150 people in the orchestra, it would have its challenges, but not insurmountable. I think with enough organisation and enough preparation in the months preceding it, it should all go smoothly.
If we get funding, my God, the Gothic will go ahead this year, 22nd of December, QPAC Centre, under John Carew and Michael Black.
Just thought I'd chase you up or follow you up on the Gothic project, yeah. Oh, there's everything. There's organ, there's choirs, you name it, it's in there. Yeah. This is the closest we've been in almost 2 decades, so we are desperately in need of the funding. I've just been having a few wakeful nights lately, from the Gothic, of course. So I've been waking up 1:30 on the dot every night till about 3:30,
just worried about Gothic. Is it doable?
They need to be all together in one place for quite a while before the final rehearsals under the direction of Mr. Black.
I look at my watch. End of the year is looming. So we decided that we'd take the risk. We'd all get together for a leaders' workshop. Get all the leaders in. We've got a wind leader, brass leader, choral leader, the choral master, the conductor. Everyone's coming in.
The key man at this moment is Michael.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, I'm not going to know whether there's an orchestra for a month or two yet.
Yeah.
But I would think if there's to be a choir, it should start practically tomorrow morning, right?
Between now and then, now and say November, the individual choirs, once a week wouldn't be enough.
Oh, wow.
This is creeping up on us fast, Michael, right? Fast. The other thing I think one ought to say about those people who want to sing in the Gothic is they shouldn't be involved with preparing anything else between now and then.
Now we're faced with the problem of not having enough time to rehearse the choirs.
Everything's in place, but it's hanging on a thread. I can't stand the thread. I can't stand it.
Brian was virtually self-taught. He started out writing choral works and began to make a reputation as a composer after he received a standing ovation for a part song performed at the Morecambe Music Festival. In 1898, Brian married an admirer, Isabel Priestley, and they had 5 children. His reputation grew, and he secured an annual patronage of £500 from a wealthy local businessman to allow him to devote all his time to composition. He enjoyed his newfound wealth, but to the detriment of his composing. He drank heavily while his career stalled.
Lying fallow, like a field, is an essential part of my composing. Whether I write again or not doesn't worry me.
Thank you for your application to Arts Queensland. I am pleased to advise you that you have been approved funding of $25,000 to bring a performance of Havergal Brian's Gothic Symphony to Brisbane in December 2009. We've got a show to put on now, but oh well, look, you might as well enjoy it while you can.
Check the signature.
Yeah, it's a signature.
Yeah,
But
that's terrific.
the bad news is the amount. It's not as much as we asked for.
This age, you take what you can get. Fantastic, well done.
It's a start.
Brilliant.
I swear, it's cursed. It's cursed. Every time something comes in, something falls away. This afternoon I got an email from Michael Black saying, congratulations, but we're 2 weeks too late. We just can't do this. You've got the venue, you've got the orchestra, you've got the conductor, you've got the Brisbane musical community on fire for it, you know? Major people. Everything's in place. Oh, I'm sorry, you're 2 weeks behind. We're not going to catch up now. I don't even, you know, starting not to like it. Something I sort of fell in love with is just turning nasty.
I would say he was born out of his time. He should have been born probably somewhere like Henry VIII. I don't know. He was an old devil.
Arguments over money and an affair with a young maid, Hilda Hayward, led to the collapse of Brian's first marriage in 1913.
And by all accounts, his patron was outraged, particularly at the way that he treated his first wife and family, and withdrew his patronage.
And at some point, she actually is supposed to have thrown out all his books and music and manuscripts in a skip.
There is no one so beautiful as Hilda in London. A good, unselfish soul. Too good for me. It is utterly impossible to live without her.
Is it over?
Well, no, it's the thing we've got to do. Someone's got to do this damn thing. Someone's got to do it.
So that reminds me of that old saying, the show must go on.
Yes.
And I've suddenly, the last few years, just devised the answer to that, and it's why.
I don't have an answer. Don't have an answer.
Why?
I have no idea.
Most of the time would be better if the show had never gone on. Well, then what do we say?
Okay.
2010
I think
December.
2010, but we have to move now to get, as you say, the choirs locked in.
Can we try and aim for the Wednesday? Somebody needs to check the availability of the concert hall within the next 24 hours or so.
Okay.
So you need to hang in there until we've got a date fixed and a system's fixed.
Okay.
Once that happens, you can sit back and breathe a sigh of relief and let the rest of us get on with it. All right? What's the year we're talking about?
2010.
We now have time to do the job properly, and if we get sufficient orchestral players as well, I think this one should work.
Unfortunately, Michael Black was unavailable for the 2010 performance, so we had to find a new choral master.
Hey! Use your hand and draw that. Hey! And the other arm. Woo! This project could be professional suicide,
but in some ways it was a gift. Great opportunity to apply my skills and test myself and see if I am capable of doing it.
Good afternoon, everybody. And welcome to the initial meeting for the Gothic Symphony, or as we're going to refer to it, Symphony Number 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3.
Our first rehearsal was orally painful and was just abhorrent in the sounds that were created by the choristers.
Keep going, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Good.
Aeternum in time. You'll never be in time if you don't cut those things short every single time. And the other thing was, as far as I'm concerned, vowels are out and consonants rule. Otherwise you get the real sludge, and that's a shame. And the other thing is, where are you going to get the rest of them from? You're going to be 10 years older in 12 months. Because of the Gothic and all that? You know.
No.
It was mind-blowingly huge. How do you pull together a chorus that this score demands in Brisbane?
This is probably about my 4th or 5th attempt to pull this off in 25 years. I had black hair when I started, and I was about 2 foot taller. So it's almost killing me, but we're going to keep plugging on because I want to show that Brisbane can do this. The biggest problem is getting a choir together because it requires, frankly, to do the work in its fullness, probably about 600 choristers. We haven't got 600 choristers. And at the moment, we're nowhere near that. So I'm seriously concerned that this attempt will fail through lack of sufficient choristers. The finale is 1 hour long, and it's a choral finale. No one else is crazy enough to try this. It's the Mount Everest of classical music. We've got to base camp 3 about 4 times, run out of oxygen. So if you are interested, please join us for this extraordinary musical adventure. I threw hopefully everything at it, a bit of humour, a bit of pathos. I didn't break down and cry, that's usually the punch.
You're a good boy, Ashy. From a completely personal point of view, it was a foolish thing for me to take on because, you know, I'm a mother of a young family and time poor, and there was no certainty of anything with the Gothic.
Brian came to London to really make his living as a freelance composer on his own, trying to break into the song and part song market, trying to turn out a whole lot of pieces that he could sell.
Blast fate and his curses. Things were looking black as hell. We had £1 between us, and with it I started for a shop in Fleet Street to purchase a Colt and cartridges. I remember twisting that sovereign about in my fingers and looking at the death-dealing instruments in the window, but out of reach. Its meaning is not yet revealed and never will be until I plunge once again into writing.
Because we're not fully organised, QPAC will want to cancel our booking and put on another show.
John Costas has got the hall booked for that night.
The venue, we've got that performance date.
Before, yeah.
I booked it 6 months ago.
If you've got the first booking and he doesn't, he can't bully his way onto that stage that night,
Well,
can he?
they're asking us, I think, aren't they?
What's he asking you to clear off?
The 20th to the 22nd, we need that. Yeah. Like, that's a 2-day bump in that we need in that theatre.
The problem with this project has always been there's been no producer. I knew I had a commitment to the Gothic, and they were planning to do it in that year, and if you don't have a booking, you're going to find the hall's not available. And then what do? We go the same old merry-go-round again, start all over again, put it off yet again.
Go and secure that booking, make sure it's sorted. It was really a call to arms.
I am living in hope. The curse has been quiet today, which is a bit of a worry. And I'm hoping it's taking a day off. This is our big chance to show QPAC we can do it. We're asking them to keep our booking and to give us their full support to stage the event.
Just the door to the left of and then they run.
See you soon.
We couldn't have him in that meeting. We simply could not have our executive producer in that meeting because he just puts the doubt into everybody's mind.
I think most people around town are probably getting tired of me pitching the thing to them, so this is good. This is 4 new people pitching it, which I think is what is needed for a little while. So we'll see. I think this must be the best known work of music in this town that's never been performed. Everyone seems to know about it, but we haven't done it. It's 5:10, so that's 40 minutes. Good sign. Good sign. That's just over 50 minutes, coming up to the hour. I think anything over the hour augurs well.
That meeting was amazing because we came out with as close to a yes as we'd ever had. We don't have an answer.
No, I didn't think
we'll
we would.
probably have one within a week.
Surprised.
Yeah.
Could I say we don't have a no?
Yeah, good. Yeah, okay.
It was... all we had to do was see if it fit into the QPAC centre, see if we could fit this mammoth symphony in, and we had to get more money. So that was Gary's job.
It's a bit daunting. $25,000 is a lot of money. So I've got to look at ways that we can do it. We might have to start looking at some sponsors, but that's very hard for a classical music event. Or go to 4MBS, 4MBS board, see if they're interested in actually matching the money.
So no one can drink a whole bottle of wine. There you go. We'll just pop it away there for the Gothic. All right, back to work.
It is possible for me to write bigger stuff. I feel I am just beginning. This work has been inside my head for a lifetime and has inside it everyone who has ever been dear to me.
In 1919, Havergal Brian began composing the Gothic Symphony. Composing throughout the night, he laboured over this huge work, a vision of medieval splendour, for 8 years.
Doesn't work very well on the piano. Because, of course, he didn't compose at the piano. In fact, at one point, towards the end of the composition of the Gothic, he was so short of money, he actually sold his piano. So, as far as I'm aware, the entire thing was conceived and executed just sitting at the table.
If in those midnight hours I sometimes saw Frederick the Great, a shrunken figure after a long life of fighting, Johann Sebastian Bach, Goethe, Berlioz sitting in an armchair in the darkness by the fire, I attached no importance to the phenomenon. I was more disturbed by what sometimes happened to my manuscripts after I went to bed. I seal the sketches with paste and sealing wax every night before going to bed, only to find sometimes on opening them all kinds of dirty remarks written on my blotting paper each morning.
There is actually a Faust quote at the head of the score, which translates as, whoever strives with all his might, that man we can redeem. This is at the heart of the Gothic Symphony.
The completed symphony featured almost 200 orchestral players, a 500-voice choir, a children's choir, 4 brass bands, 4 solo singers, a huge concert organ, a thunder machine, and a bird scarer.
It wrote itself.
A chair out is where we go into the proposed performance venue and we put a chair out for each player to ensure that the production can fit.
If it doesn't fit, we're in trouble. So it'll either be end, and everyone will go, look, it's ridiculous, it's not going to work, or it'll be, what can we do to make it fit?
So he's got flutes, 4 and 4. Yep. So it's four in each row. Yep. 8 horns, so let's count 8 over that side.
The thing that interests me is I don't think they all play at the same time, ever.
If that was the case, why would there be so many?
Oh, because he wanted one there and one there and one there and one there and one on a floating... We can't fit them on stage anyway. Is that a fact? Well, then, I don't think we can do it at all. But I'm very happy to be proven wrong.
Well, it didn't fit. It didn't fit in the way Havergal Brian conceived it. And we needed to be creative in how we were going to make it fit.
The reason you do the Gothic Symphony is because it's enormous.
The full thing doesn't fit in the hall.
Are we happy to cut down from the 4 brass choirs to the 2?
So we worked out very intriguing solutions to the problem. We cut the brass groups in half because they were 2 doubling every part. We put them together at the end for the 5th ensemble.
The question is whether we actually need to have that additional player.
I don't think so.
So the Gothic Symphony is probably the biggest musical event that's ever going to happen in this city. It's absolutely massive. After putting the case for supporting the Gothic to the board of 4MBS, they've agreed and they'll put in the money that's needed to get it to happen. Just confirming that we've got the funding. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to announce that the Gothic Symphony is going ahead. Historic event, truly historic event, and it'll be once in a lifetime. I can guarantee I'm not going to be trying to do this thing again. This is it.
Probably the only other one at the moment is the Gothic in Brisbane. In case any of you didn't see it, I'll just read out Veronica Fury's email, which is, I think, one of the most positive ones we've had from Brisbane. She says, "Hi John, how are you? I've had some incredible news re the planned Gothic performance this year. QPAC have said pretty much yes now for a 22nd December 2010 event. Actually having the venue planned and some rehearsals going ahead, that's far better than we had last year at the same time, and I'm really quite hopeful this time that it's going to come off, so fingers crossed."
Can we get a group booking to go?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I shall go, I'm sure. Once we've got it really confirmed. Once I've got a ticket in my hand.
Yes.
I'm also a member of the Havergal Bryan Society, and one of my jobs there is to pull together the vocal score of the Gothic Symphony, which a number of members of the Society have been working on, so that we can provide some really good parts for the choral singers in the next performance. There's nothing more exciting than a very large choir singing very quietly, and the page here on the screen shows you where everybody's singing the same chord very quietly. It sounds like a religious service. The performance will definitely be enhanced if you have a good quality vocal score. So what I'm doing at the moment is putting the finishing touches to that. My job is to make sure that the vocal score, which the choral singers use, which is, if you like, an extract of this full score, is as good as possible. To illustrate the process, I think it would be interesting to look at a well-known choral symphony, which is Beethoven's Ninth. And here's the score of the Ninth Symphony. So now let's compare that with Bryan's Gothic Symphony, the last part of the Gothic Symphony, which is very much like a comparison with the Ninth. So you can see now there's something of huge complexity. That page, for example, is black with ink. There's so much going on.
That's it. Very good.
Te Deum laudamus.
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 Havergal Bryan set the Gothic Symphony in Latin for the choristers. Sabaoth. A lot of people performing this work will never have performed a Latin work of this complexity. It will definitely be challenging for me and for the choristers as well. But that's part of the process. Good, and just before you go...
I don't know, it's early days.
I'm not going to do that. So it is going to be a significant challenge for all of us, and I do have very big concerns about the ability of the choir to do this performance.
Hello? Yes, that's me, Veronica, yes. Oh, I've heard your voice before somewhere. How's the choir getting on? How many is doubled? How about the Melbourne part?
So Philip Legg is a Havergal Bryan Society member, and he knows the Gothic Symphony score very well. He's passionate about this work.
I haven't had the pleasure of working with Alison before, so she's confident in me being able to organise a group, however large or small, here in Melbourne. We're hoping to turn up for the last of the chorus rehearsals where we can go up and seamlessly join with the other forces in Brisbane that she's rehearsing.
You start off being concerned about the performance and then you start getting concerned about selling tickets. We're getting to the stage now where we'll start to get very concerned about selling the right number of tickets.
41.
On the 22nd of December, the first public performance outside of England of the monumental Gothic Symphony by British composer Havergal. Doesn't sound too exciting, that one, does it? 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. This is your opportunity to be in the audience for this once-in-a-lifetime performance. Bookings through QTix. That'll do it.
We're going into our new office.
We're in the new office.
Yes, hello. Havergal Bryan Symphony No. 1, the Gothic. Carrie Ann calling, speaking.
Well, it would have been fantastic 28 years ago to have someone like Carrie Ann.
Oh, we're just trying to get all of the orchestra together, really. That's our main missing link. Thank you for registering.
She drove a production team like none others. She was my executive producer.
My role is to try and keep out of the way, if I can, of the people that are actually doing that job of getting the orchestra, getting the choir, getting all the other things happening.
But someone's got to plant the seeds, don't they? And I think that's what Gary's role in life is with these, you know, ideas, is to plant the seeds. But it's a massive beanstalk and it's out of control.
I really believe that all of this is absolutely, totally and utterly premature. You know, curses, optimistic, pessimistic, two-page spreads in QPAT's program. Wait, that's got nothing to do with anything. That's the usual 21st century approach to everything. Spin all over the place. Everybody's jumping up and down selling tickets. No, if I haven't got a really good orchestra and a really terrific choir by the time rehearsals start, it's going to be an incredible disaster. You've got 3 months before the start of rehearsals. Pretty well. 3 months before the start of rehearsals. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm not going to do anything. What are they going to do to provide me with the goodies? That's what I'd like to know.
So there's nothing in the local paper, the Courier Mail, about the Gothic as yet. Television. Oh, thanks, sir. Thank you. No, looking in vain. Nothing about classical music. No, not a thing. I'm confident the musicians will turn up because I think there's enough interest out there amongst musicians to be part of it. That's my hope.
Go back to the woman and tell them that the historic Havergal Bryan Society has requested you to lead this orchestra, and you need the first week off as well. It's a historic thing. It's going to be televised. All the symphony orchestras in Australia will get credits for it because people from all the orchestras are going to play in it, and all that rubbish.
So I've just picked up this score for the Gothic Symphony by Havergal Bryan, and I must admit, here it is, right here. I'm a bit nervous because I have to do the bowings for it, and that means putting in the down bows and the up bows, and it's going to take me absolutely forever. Ding. This is so exciting. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's not handwritten, is it? The Gothic Symphony. Doesn't look too bad. Look. There's bars rest too. It's great. Let's have a listen maybe. Yeah. Let's see what it sounds like. I think the curse is the thing that makes Dad want to do it all the more. Yeah. I think it's like a big challenge for Dad because he's heard that heaps of people have tried and failed.
His music was written for performance. It was written to be heard, but to persist through decades of it not being heard was obviously, you know, a very difficult thing.
I would rather grow old merely writing and not caring once the writing is over.
Between the ages of 72 and 92, he would write 27 symphonies, 4 operas, 2 concertos, and several other works. His friend, the composer Robert Simpson, used to refer to Bryan as a geriatric prodigy.
I think he's a fantastically original composer. He's quite unpredictable. You never know exactly what's coming next. And it's always something stranger and more remarkable than you expect.
Havergal Bryan is 96 years old, and he's been composing all his life, even though he's been utterly ignored almost all the time, both by the musical profession and by the public. Now, in 1972, the very first commercial recording of any of his music is underway.
It's the work of a man who sits quietly on his own, turning out one work after another, regardless of whether they're played or noticed. I mean, he once said to me, his philosophy is nothing matters. And if that isn't stoical, I don't know what is.
Where are they going to park?
I'm sure they've arranged it for them somewhere, shuttle buses or whatever. Don't worry about it.
Is that what you reckon?
The thing about you not being responsible is you have to not be responsible. You have to just let it happen.
It's the Gothic shuttle. It's a very important job. That's why I've got it.
A lot of them are alumni of the Queensland Youth Orchestras. They're all coming together for the first time. And that's the kind of chemistry, alchemy, that you just can't predict.
It's a job. It's a piece like any other piece. And you are either technically equipped to do it or you're not. It is as simple as that, believe me. Now, right, so without more mucking around,
We're going to have people who maybe haven't played for 10 years, but they're going to come and they're going to play, and they're going to play really well. Because you always rise to it, no matter what. You have to.
the orchestra for this symphony is an absolutely terrific orchestra. I don't know, the planets must have been lined up in the right order for this. To get so many people of that quality together is really very, very fortunate.
The challenges I'm facing right now are everybody's telling me that I don't have sufficient choristers. My anxieties at this point of time to get the sixth movement right, recruit some more treble singers for the children's chorus, and to have the soloists very secure. It's serious now. Where we have to go is just getting this chorus really tight, and it's doing whatever it takes to get it right. Altos, 2, 3, and...
Apparently half the choir's supposed to come from Melbourne. And I've asked Gary, for example, recently, how's the Melbourne half of the choir going?
The possibility of getting a Melbourne contingent is pretty small. We've got less than 10 people that have said, I'm available to go up to Brisbane and do it.
Exactly how many have you got?
8.
It's absolutely the depth of winter here, and it's going to be midsummer over there, and it's going to be just an incredible contrast. I have to pack my own score of the Gothic, which is, as you can see, it's falling apart. It'll be my 4th live performance of the Gothic that I've been to, but that's in, what, 44 years. So, you know, each one is worth going to, definitely. Each one is an occasion. So it's a sort of irresistible combination, really, the Australia and the Gothic. Obviously, there must be a great deal of very good musicianship there because, you know, people who are mediocre musicians don't do a piece like the Gothic. It calls for great talent. So, you know, my expectations are pretty high.
Today will be interesting because for the first time we will have what was supposed to be every piece of the puzzle together. We really need to have a lot of, yeah, I suppose good luck to balance the curse, let's say.
All righty.
So nice to meet you.
Oh, no, great pleasure, great pleasure.
So when I pull up to a rehearsal, often feeling a bit apprehensive and trying to block out matters that don't matter.
There must be loads of pressure on loads of people.
Yeah, I haven't been sleeping all that well the last couple of nights.
It's got to be right, hasn't it? A failure, I presume, is not an option here.
Yes, that's right.
Well, it's going to be very exciting because this is the first moment I'm ever actually going to hear any of the sounds of the orchestra and the chorus.
Chorus, are you ready? Yes, chorus is ready.
That's not good enough. This is feeble. No, it's no good, it's no good, it's no good. And 1, 2. Too late. Too late, too late. Too late. Stop together, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1. Okay? Please, you have really got to react much more quickly than that. And children, don't take any notice of what's going on around you. Concentrate. or the Gothic bogeyman will get you. You've got to sing so strong that the chorus are able to follow you and fit in, okay? And 1. No, 2. 2 Rex doesn't exist here. It's 2 Rex. 2 Rex. And you wait for the second beat before you even dream of singing Rex. This is one of the points in this score that you are able to sound like the best chorus on the face of the earth. There aren't many of them, but this is one of them. Not even the best choruses on the face of the earth can sound like the best choruses on the face of the earth with most of this anyway. But here is a place where you can do it. Okay, can we go from 3 before 5, thank you.
Hold those scores up or you'll be doing it from memory, please.
Soprano,
I want
alto,
some sound.
tenor, 5.
That's not good enough.
3 before 5, okay?
We've worked hard on this. That sounds terrible.
And as loud as you have ever sung in your life, ever, and will ever sing again. Stop! Gloria, breathe! Gloria, please! Stop!
It is a mess, but, well, you know, I wouldn't say it's entirely a mess. They have issues, put it that way.
I'm only getting cranky because this concert is on in 5 days, okay? And this is rather elementary chorus.
Look, I've grown up with this. Stress, yelling, nobody turns up to the rehearsal, rah, 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 rah. And then the concert happens. Oh, I think that went rather well, don't you? Everybody else is like shaking around the drama of it all, and Dad's like, well, that went rather well, didn't it?
So I just went with the flow today. We had many things against us. We were 100 choristers down, which is a big number.
We did try to get MSO Chorus and Royal Melbourne Phil and Melbourne City Opera and all of the big choirs interested, but they all have competing concerts at this time of year. We've got 4. We've got 3 tenors and a bass.
You know, it's meant to be a full-looking chorus, so we're in the process of, you know, looking at, well, what do we need to do to ensure there are no spare seats?
Got a big stage of orchestra. You don't want holes in the choir stalls. It's not a good look.
It was mooted that we rent a crowd and put them in amongst the chorus. So we didn't need to do that. We secured some other really very good singers. When you go to a choral concert, you don't want seafood filler in there. You want your good prawns.
It's going to be fine on the night. It will be. These are just, well, I don't know, I'm a little worried.
There you are, and I can't give you any more until late this afternoon, so there you are. Off you go. Yeah, all right. I got this phone message that he had had a fall and missed his footing on the pavement. He was moved to hospital, and I came over and I went and I held his hand, and he said, "Olga, please, could you take me home?" And I said, "Father, I'll do everything I can." But he died during the night. When we were going to the funeral, I was looking over in the distance, and I said, you know, can you imagine what my father would say at this awful weather. There was black clouds and so on. And I just said, oh, the departure of a turbulent spirit.
I mean, this is the big one. This is it. This is what we've all been waiting for.
It's me getting the bottle ready and I've got to put it on ice. It's really, yeah, but it's just a cheap bottle of champagne.
Oh, I'm definitely feeling a few butterflies in the stomach. I've just had a severe panel beating done to sort of take my mind off it.
Brian once said that the piece came to him in a flash, and he wanted to write the whole thing in about 20 bars. And sometimes I just have this weird feeling that in that flash, he somehow had a vision of the universe.
I'm nervous. In the best possible way. You know, to be fair, we'd not run the work in its entirety through the 4th, 5th and 6th movements.
Over the last 28 years, I've thought when we get to the stage when we have a performance, I bet I'm late. Ready. As good as it gets.
Use your hands.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Gothic Symphony Orchestra. This is your second and final call to stage for this evening's performance. Ladies and gentlemen of the Gothic Symphony Orchestra, your second and final call.
1 minute to walk on, 1 minute.
The way he finally organised the piece is in 2 parts, each with 3 movements. The first 3 movements orchestral, the second 3 movements for the full forces.
Now, we ready? Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the Gothic Symphony.
No, tonight there's no interval as far as I know. This is the performance, and we behave ourselves completely. Up at the right times, down at the right times, and singing all at the right times. And there's no mucking about.
The second movement started, so we'd better be quiet.
I had a scotch, John. I was a scotch. And I had ice cream.
It's one night, and for all this. No, we'll be right when we get out there. We've done a lot of rehearsing.
Yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen next. Scared.
Quiet, please.
Yep, that's it.
Perhaps likewise travelling.
Thank you.
And then Brian finally unleashes the voices.
Go, well done.
It was breathtakingly beautiful.
I'm feeling, frankly, overjoyed that the audience responded in the way that I've been hoping for 28 years they would.
Yes, because they were sensational and spot on by the chorus. I was so proud. We absolutely nailed it. You know, we did it. It was sensational to be up there on stage. I've never experienced that in my life. We were just so proud to be there.
Knew it was going to work, but I just didn't know how well.
I've never seen him so happy.
Did you get the dress? Gail got this specially made for the Gothic. No, she's put up with an awful lot over the last 28 years. Must have bored you to tears many times over this. So, it's wonderful. Amazing she's still talking to me.
And it's sort of a sort of imperishable monument, really. It's like a Gothic cathedral, like the pyramids, like Stonehenge. You know, the Gothic Symphony is another one of these enormous architectural things that just can't, you know, you can't ignore, and that they're for the ages, really.
This is the file that's got the reviews. This is the review from the Gramophone magazine. I think it's the first review of a music event in Brisbane ever, reported in Gramophone magazine, an international publication. This is from the Australian, a terrific review, and the Havergal Bryan Society newsletter with John Kerr on the front. A triumph beyond all expectation. That's what we were after.
The curse was... Did I break the curse? Did I really? Oh, that's good. I like that idea. I like the idea that I broke the curse. The curse is broken.
I was born in October, and October people are quite psychic. I do think they could be put in a box and buried. I mean, it's a wicked thing to say, but that's where I think it would be happier. Because, admittedly, it gives employment to quite a few, but what else? Now, would you like a cup of tea?